Money. Money. Everybody wants more of it. Some people hate it, or they say they hate it, but I've never seen a person who doesn't want more of it. Why would you want something more you hate? I would say it's not money they hate. They probably hate that they don't feel like they have enough of it. My old mentor once told me, unless what you have today is enough, you will never have enough money. But before we begin, hit that like button, subscribe. If you'd like to get my help personally, my website is marksinspiration.com. You can book a session with me, and I'll be glad to help you in whatever situation you need help in. Check me out on Instagram at marksinspiration if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're watching this on IG, check me out on YouTube at Mark Daniels, Mark's Inspiration. We have December 3rd, Afi Kingdom, King Dre, and AV Alpha Villains are going to be here for a show on the Power is Within podcast every Saturday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, without further ado, money. We see a lot of these guys, Grant Cardone, who's another one? I've read Tony Robbins. These guys are worth about a half a billion dollars. Tony doesn't talk a lot about money. Grant talks a lot about money. I've read Grant's books. I listen to Grant. Grant kind of annoys me, but probably because there's something he's doing that I'm not doing that I need to do that I don't want to accept. So remember that if someone annoys you when they're talking about money or talking about anything, it may be because they're reflecting something. No, usually it is. They're reflecting something back to you that you need to do, or that you need to at least see within yourself that you won't see. I'm not quite sure what it is about Grant, but I listen to him. And one of the reasons I read his book, or a couple of his books, is because he annoyed me. So I knew he has a message for me. People who annoy us sometimes are our best teachers. But what is it about money that you think about? Do you think about never having enough? Do you think about, I can't afford this, money doesn't grow on trees, we aren't the Rockefellers, and all the other hosts of negative expressions and sayings that people have programmed you about money? Money burns a hole in your pocket, that's one I used to hear. If you hear that over and over enough, again, you'll get to where that's all you do is spend your money and you never invest it in anything. Now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't invested in anything much outside of myself. I did invest in some of Cardone's capital, or his real estate apartments. But other than that, I've really just spent most of my last 30 years investing, actually 31 to 32 years, investing in myself. Even before that, I invested in myself, but in a different way. Physical fitness, I suppose you would say. But for the last 30 years, I've put most of my time improving myself. And I would have to say that is probably the best investment you can ever, how do I say? It's the best investment you can choose to put a lot of effort into, or money into for that matter. Because no matter how much money you have, I mean, you need to have your base necessities met. But everything past that is my boys talk so loud. Can you guys hear them? It's like they're yelling over there. All right. So I'm a blessed man. I am a rich man. Regardless of how much money you think I have, or I do have. I have a family. We're all healthy. I have great physical fitness. All my kids are physically fit. I have a roof over my head. It's raining today. We have food, about 5 or 6 gallons of milk in the refrigerator because we drink a lot of milk. I can go to the store and buy whatever food I want. I could travel to Mexico. I could travel to the Philippines if I wanted to. I don't want to take that long flight though, although I am curious about going over there. Asia's a long flight. And I can leave tomorrow if I decided to, because I'm self-employed, but I have a job set up for tomorrow. I could have the boys do it. So that's riches, that's wealth. Now, There are a lot of things I would like to be able to do that I don't have the financial ability to do. I'm going to tell you this though. No matter how much money you have, there's always going to be something more that you want. That's why people continue to strive for more. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong. I'm striving for more right now. I have goals of a lot more money than I have now. And that's good. There's nothing wrong with having goals. You need to have goals. But if you think that when you get that money that you're going to be okay about money, you're always going to want more. It's like when you were young that maybe your mom or dad or somebody gave you $10, $15, $20, or maybe you worked and you made a certain amount of money, a couple $100. You think about what you're going to buy with that or what you're going to do with it, but there's always something more. You think, well, if I just had another $50. So what I'm telling you is whether you have 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 100 million, there's always going to be something more. Well, if I just had 120 million, or if you have 500 million, well, if I just had 500, 600, or 550 million, I could do this deal, or I could buy this, or I could invest in that. That's the way it is. So if you think a certain amount of money is going to bring you contentment and satisfaction, you're wrong. Now, it's good to have a prudent reserve. I know for me, cash flow sometimes becomes a challenge. So if I have money sitting in the bank that I can use for cash in case maybe someone doesn't pay me, or we do a job where they only pay every 3 months, which I don't do those, but sometimes I've had to wait a month. Cash flow can be a problem. So it's always nice to have a prudent reserve. But if money becomes your security, which I see a lot of that nowadays, their money is their security. Well, I got this money in the bank, I'm okay. You could wake up tomorrow and money could be worthless, like Venezuela. They don't count their money, they weigh it because it's so worthless. I mean, I guess when they get into large amounts, but the inflation went so badly down there. Is that bad? Inflation got so bad down there that their money is just almost worthless. And we have a similar thing going on here. So now if you've invested in real estate or land or things like that, that's different. But even that, back in 2008, I think it was, I had friends that had, maybe some of them, I'm not sure exactly the amount, could have been millions of dollars worth of real estate. But I know this, some of the lots they had were worth about $75,000 or $80,000 for a city lot. And then within a week or 2 weeks or a month, something like that, they were only worth 25 grand. 3 or 4 of the guys lost everything. One of my friends, he almost lost his house too, but he didn't. He was able to keep it for some flaw in the contract when he borrowed the money. But the point is, even that. So there's no security in money. Although as I said, it's good to have a prudent reserve. But of course, the person who has a lot of money in the bank thinks they're secure with their money, but they're not. What if we had a war? What if we got invaded? Where's your security come from then? What if the banks closed down? That's happened before too, and everything they had in there was... There's a thing called eminent domain. You actually don't own any property. The government can take it any time. So a lot of you don't know that. So where does your security have to come from? It has to come from within yourself. For me, it comes from a trust in God, a higher power, a higher self, if you like. My conception of God is not some old white-headed man sitting up there in the heavens, writing down everything I do wrong, and he's going to punish me and send me to heaven or hell. If that's yours and that works for you, that's great. That's not what I believe. I believe that there's an omnipotent energy, being, whatever you want to call it, that acts on love. And the more loving I am to people and treat people in a good way, or the way they want to be treated, then everything works out better for me. And it also is being a humanitarian, helping other people without any thought of return from those people. And from that, I find a richness and a contentment and a fulfillment that I don't get from any amount of money I've ever had. Sounds like somebody running into something out there. I gotta watch it. Sometimes my neighbors will hit some of my design ornaments around here and they don't tell me about it. Imagine that. Well, that's the way it is. So true riches is so much more than money. Although, as I said, it's hard to be and feel truly rich if you're living in a cardboard box, especially on a day like this when it's raining. And if you're cold, like homeless people, we have homeless people around here and we live in a small community. I mean, I know it's got to be tough on them in the wintertime because it gets very cold here. So I'm not inside those people's minds. So maybe for them, that's some kind of a true freedom for them. That's possible. I've heard some of them talk about it like that. That's not for me. And if you know someone who has a lot of money, they could be very happy. And it's okay to have all the money you want as long as that money doesn't have you. I hear some guys talk about you have to be obsessed about money to get more money. If you're obsessed about anything other than growing, how do I say, in love, and I'm not talking about some mamby-pamby love. I'm talking about the love that has concern about people out there in other countries who are dying at this very moment because they don't have clean water or good food to eat. That's the kind of love I'm talking about. The kind of love that stops and helps your neighbor, the old woman, for example, because she can't put up something on her porch on the outside. You don't want anything back from her. You're just doing it because it's an act of love. It may not be a feeling of love. Maybe you take her trash down for her every Friday because she doesn't have any family to do it for her and she's old. She can barely walk. And you don't feel like doing it. God, it's snowing outside, it's 20 below, but you do it. That's the love I'm talking about. When you do those kinds of things, when you live a life like that, everything that you desire, whether it be money, friends, family, a relationship, will come to you. We don't attract what we want so much as what we are. These people who have a lot of money, most of them, at least the ones I admire, are rich on the inside and they give a lot of it away. Grant Cardone does a lot for other people. He uses his money to help other people for free and for fun. Of course, he sells courses and he sells things and he rents out things, and that's well and good. We should get rewarded monetarily for the things we do. Just like my work, I get paid, I get recompensed very well for the service I provide for my clients, and I get paid for the service my employees serve me by serving the clients. So I'm in the middle. I get recompense from them and I get recompense from the clients. But even that, as I've said before, do more than you're getting paid for. If you're working for someone you don't like and you think you need another job, try to learn to like where you are. Do more than you're getting paid for. Many people want more, but they're not willing to do more. They want the crop, but they don't want to till the ground, plant the seed, and cultivate the ground when the plants start coming up. They just want the crop. They want the fire, but they don't want to cut the wood, gather it up, bring it home, and put it in the stove. You got to do the work first. You got to do the service first. And try not to look at it as work. I get frustrated with myself sometimes because I say, well, I got to go to work tomorrow. No, I get to go to work tomorrow. Do you know how many people out there that would love to be able to go to work to serve? People talk about retirement. What are you going to retire from? Life? I may change professions sometime. I love what I do. I'm a painting contractor. I just finished this beautiful house, which, as I've told you guys, I underbid it about 10 grand. It should have been 20. I bid it like 10.5 or something. But the damn thing is beautiful, and I must say I had more satisfaction from finishing that than I did many other jobs where I cleared several $1,000s and maybe didn't put in a couple days work. So I could have cut corners. I could have put one coat on and they would have never known. I could have done all that stuff, but I didn't. Now, I did not do that because I'm a great guy. I did it because I want to be treated well. And I know whatever I put out there comes back to me multiplied. So I gave them a good job. So down the road, people will do good jobs for me. I don't expect anything back from those people. Even what you do is an act of love. The service you provide for your employer is an act of love if you should choose to perceive it that way. But don't do it begrudgingly. Don't worry if your boss doesn't appreciate you. Someone appreciates you. The universe appreciates you, or God as you understand God, or don't understand God. I don't understand God. If God is God, how can you understand him? It. I think we should say it instead of him. But that's what we've done for thousands of years. The point I'm making here is this: don't depend on money, because money is just paper. It's an energy. The money that comes back to you will be in direct correlation to the service you provide for humanity, not just for your boss, but for humanity, especially for those people who are never going to do anything back for you. And like I said, Grant Cardone has helped a lot of people that can't do anything for him. To me, that's the true secret of success. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, or running over, shall be added unto you. For with the measure you meet, it will be meted back unto you. What that means, for whatever you give out, whatever measure you give out, is going to be coming back to you. And it'll come back to you running over and multiplied, I'll guarantee you. But you have to be patient, you have to wait, and just as you sow the seed in the ground, it takes time for that crop to grow. If you plant a flower or a cucumber plant or a potato plant, you don't go out there every day and look, well, is it coming up yet? Well, let me see, man. I better move that. Let me move that dirt back so it can come up. No, you don't have to do anything to it. It comes up on its own, from its own energy. I don't understand that, nor do you. Why does it grow? What makes it grow? But it grows up of its own accord. The same thing with these things I'm speaking to you about now. If you want money, give money away. The Jewish people have always believed in tithing, 10% of what come in. Give money away, but don't expect anything back from the person you give it to or the group or organization you give it to. Make sure it's a worthy organization, some place that is actually helping people to grow. I believe in giving it to where I get spiritually fed. I've given to a lot of content creators because they help me, and they're not charging. There's so much free information on the internet for you guys if you want to learn something, and it's free. All you have to do is turn on your phone and watch it, your cell phone. It's free. And if those guys are helping you, why not give to them? If I'm helping you, hit my Cash App button or PayPal. You can donate to this channel if you'd like to. But I don't need it from you, and I'm not at you. If you want to do it, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. You don't have to. Some of you can't give, but I'm giving to you, and I know that will come back to me somewhere down the road. I know that. That's the way life works. But you have time. Go give. If you're learning something from me and it helps you, you take what I give you, some tools, and you use it and it helps you, go pass that on to someone else who needs it and wants it. And the rewards will come back to you greatly multiplied. They certainly will. I have one more point to make. What was I going to say? I can't remember. There's so many things I needed to, 1,630 subscribers. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are here. I appreciate you listening to me, and I hope what I'm telling you is helping you, because that's why I'm here. My intention is to inspire and enlighten and build up humanity, and all 1,630 of you are that humanity that I'm speaking of. So I'm going to get off here, and I want you guys to have a great day. Try to be righteous in your thinking. That's not religious. Right thinking. Think good about everybody and everything. I know it's difficult, but that's why the people who don't accomplish anything, because it is difficult to look for the good in everybody and everything, but it's there if you look for it. Take care. Have a great day.